My lord, you've received a letter, delivered with some urgency as it happens. I thought the messenger might swoon, poor dear. It's from Stalwart. Apparently the mayor, Renengild, has heard of your success here at Caed Nua, and hopes you can be of aid to her people as well. People like you come few and far between. And in this case, I believe Renengild is correct in suggesting that your experiences here may give you an edge. It seems she's intent on gaining access to Durgan's battery, and she's offering quite the reward to anyone who can get inside. The dwarves of the battery fashioned Durgan's steel, and with it they crafted the finest arms and armor the Dyrwood has ever known. But the keep has been abandoned for centuries, and none remain that know their secrets. There are many legends concerning the battery. As the Earl told it, the dwarves fought amongst themselves, each seeking to use the battery to further his or her own ambitions. Greed and cruelty brought down the battery, and now the spirits of those same dwarves roam the halls. Whatever happened, the battery has been impenetrable ever since. A shame. I don't doubt that there are great treasures still within those halls. I should mention that among those rumored to have answered Renengild's summons is a certain group I believe you may have an interest in. Followers of Woodica, intent on reaching Stalwart and the battery. I do not know what they seek there, but I thought it worth mentioning, given your interest in the ruins at Defiance Bay. Now that I've delivered Renengild's message, there is also a local matter of some concern, my lord. A mercenary band has been sighted to the northeast. I believe they mean to take Concelhaut's tower, and I don't expect the archmage will go quietly.
Concelhaut's one of the greatest wizards of our generation!
The Torn Bannermen are a deadly fighting force, and Concelhaut himself has sent many travelers to their graves. I would caution you to stay clear of the region if you do travel to the White March. It is not that I doubt your courage, my lord, but Concelhaut alone boasts power of a different scale altogether to those foes you have faced thus far. Given more time, perhaps, you will match him. If the Bannermen succeed in their efforts, I fear they may turn their attention to Caed Nua. I will keep you apprised of the situation, my lord. A feigned archmage. I am given to understand that the Brackenberry Sanitarium puts much stock in his work, as regards the manipulation of the soul. His spells are widely circulated. But he is poorly regarded in many circles. Some call him a madman, or else cruel and barbarous. He must be very old by now. Perhaps that is why the Torn Bannermen believe they can best him. Little enough, I'm afraid. The Torn Bannermen are well supplied and well organized, and there are rumors that they are backed by an unknown benefactor. They have proved remarkably effective in the past, and they are certainly a threat now. Safe travels, my lord.
Of course.
The keep's coming along nicely.
You set out for Stalwart. The White March rises up in the distance, stretching to the north and south as far as the eye can see. It beckons to you with peaks like broken fingers. The road thins to a tattered ribbon, and the shadow of the mountains falls across your path. You've barely begun your climb when the darkening sky pummels you with hailstones and turns the ground beneath you to ice. You press on. The air grows thin, and the treacherous mountain passes funnel screeching winds past your ears. A blizzard forces you to make camp for 3 days, huddling for safety while snow piles around your refuge. At last the weather clears, and you approach Stalwart under a crisp blue sky. There's a noise, high and sharp, coming from the village that sounds at first like another frozen gale. But when you top the rise and reach the village's wooden gates, you see what lies beyond them.
It's Darzir! With a whole pack of them!
We can take these bastards!
Yes?
Leave it to me!
Following your tail ends here!
All right, then.
Look out! More of them by the fishery!
Stand fast! Reinforcements are here!
Following Following your lead.
Border...
Of course.
Yes?
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Yes? Darzir's fallen! Back to the matron, now!
Keydy's house is burning! Hurry! They're both in there! Of course. Help! The hut's coming down! Keydy, thank the gods you saved her.
Of course. Bereth's wheel of fire.
Owena! Go check on that Orlin. Make sure he don't steal nothing. Never seen such a bloodbath. Feels like we got half the town's survivors in here, just drinking to forget it. But you must be looking for some refreshment, too, after the way you handled them ogres. Or perhaps a room. Say the word and I'll give that shifty little Orlin the boot. Showed up a few days ago, sticks his nose out of the back room just long enough to empty his chamber pot. Up to no good, I tell you. I'd like nothing more than to see him gone, but I don't want to ruckus over it. Nothing like a pint to take the chill off.
You're a newcomer to the Deerwood as well. What do you make of it so far?
Oh, it's you. I'm so glad you came by. I hoped I'd have the chance to thank you properly. They told me what happened. God's bless you, sir. I owe you my life. I know it was foolish of me to run in there, but this ring is all that I have of my family. Sentiment, mostly. When he first settled here, my grandfather had a ring fashioned from the first batch of ore he excavated. It was supposed to commemorate his fresh start. He passed it on to his daughter, and my mother gave it to me in turn. Oh, I'm managing. Fenway's letting me stay with her until I'm back on my feet. Everyone's been lovely, really. It was hard seeing what's left of the house. But Rayvald says he's going to see a hut raised for me soon as they get the logs.
Ooh, still can't feel my fingers.
Oh, whatever happens, at least we're out of that mud hole, Gilded Vale. I grew up in Gilded Vale. Quaint. That's what I meant to call it. No, you had it right.
Edér, you have said you fought in the Saints' War, but for which side?
The one that blew up my god.
I didn't mean anything by it. I imagine a man with a head made of fire and light could be very convincing.
Funny thing about Deerwoodans. With all that fire and light, they just treated him like another authority figure.
Your brother, did you and he get along?
We got along how brothers do. He used to throw water on me to wake me up in the morning. I used to fill his boots with stinging ants.
My own brothers and sisters are doing very well for themselves, back in Tekoa. I don't know that they'd search for me if I were killed so far from home.
Brothers can be funny. I bet you'd be surprised how far they'd go.
Have you ever chased a skirt wizard? Or do you merely hide behind them?
Don't pawn your personal problems off on me.
They will use you, cast you off when it suits them, never speak another word to you.
Maybe they just don't answer to fiery whore.
Kana, what do you know about the legends of Old Valia? I only heard myths in my village, and stories at the Brotherhood.
Less than I'd like, and that from old books and the occasional trader. Tales of noble families and famed inventors. The Grand Empire, now fallen. But the myths are beautiful, aren't they? Bold heroes whose descendants dared to cross the Great Eastern long before the Deerwood was a kernel of a thought.
Ah, I wish I could have been alive to see the Empire at its height. But I suppose this new world is now ours to make. The legends ours to write. I have sailed many places with the Duke's fleet, Kana, but never have I seen the famed coral harbor of Rauatai.
It is worth the journey north, I promise you. Especially now that the Gate of Great Teeth is finished. A labyrinth of towering spires, gleaming red in the sun.
I doubt my duties will ever take me there, but at least your words have given me something to dream of. Oh, Kana. I just remembered an old Valian song. Maybe it was Dwarven. From when I was a girl.
Really? Let's hear it!
Vanimbe metse, senete de luces, senete de luces. Do you know it?
No, I'm afraid I can't say I've ever heard that particular tune.
Bring back the feisty one. There's a woman can do some damage squeezing her legs together.
It isn't a parlor trick. Besides, she doesn't take orders well.
She has backbone, that woman. Does it scare you?
No, but I won't be responsible for what happens if you call her whore. Right fetching feathers, lass.
Repeat, please, in Yduran. And stand closer so I can grab your neck if you said what I think you did.
That was Isilmir. She likes your feathers.
Thanks, but I'm not interested, Isilmir.
I wonder, Aloth, don't you ever feel curious about Isilmir's history?
Not even a little.
But think of the opportunities. You could learn so much about the past.
There are some things I'm happy not knowing.
I'll grant you that animancy has had its failures, Balreach among them. But does that warrant attacks on innocent practitioners? Superstitious kith have spilled their share of blood.
That's no comparison. Animancers have the advantage of education, and with that comes authority and responsibility.
I have to say, it's wonderful to have someone to debate with. You'd think they'd be more welcoming of it at the Law College.
Or we could enjoy a glass of wine and a comfortable silence. Your own father sold you to the Brotherhood?
He hated me anyway. I was glad to be gone. The Dukes are my parents now. The Republics, my children.
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
Give me a reason to crack someone's skull. Anything.
No.
Even just a single...
I'm not calling Isilmir out just so you can learn he'll speak. I'll write down a few words.
All right, then. Been looking everywhere for you.
They've destroyed the stockade, Mother! It's...
Enough. They're gone. The deliverer of Caed Nua. Thank you for making the journey. Abidan knows it's a long one. Well, I'm sure you wagered on a more civilized welcome. Still, we're much obliged for your capable intervention. Then far be it from me to waste your time with idle chatter. Stalwart isn't much more than a grease stain on a map. What roads we've got in the White March are basically tracks in the snow, and for every trader or adventurer that comes through, 3 of our own leave for good. But it weren't always so. There was a time when kings and queens sent their firstborn to these mountains, when the White March was the envy of empires. The Pargrin dwarves transformed the White March once. We could bring some of that greatness back to Stalwart. But we need the White Forge. Of course. Been over 200 years since anyone's felt so much as a summery breeze near it. I'm hoping you can do something about that. We've been trying to breach Durgan's battery for over a year now. Problem is, the other expeditions can't so much as dent the front door. A dozen different groups have come through at our request, and several more besides. Been hoping that one of them could clear the way through Durgan's battery. But young or old, green or seasoned, it don't seem to matter. They cast their spells, chisel at the door, and search the grounds until they've worn new treads into the old stone. The lucky ones eventually go home. Plenty more find themselves on the wrong side of a blizzard, or an ogre raiding party. We're an old mining town, or we were until the Edérans pulled out and left us with a half-dug mineshaft and something resembling an inn. Since then, it's been a steady decline. You've seen the roads. Isn't much we can produce that the Valians can't ship cheaper. But the White Forge, well, if we could fire it up again and start producing Durgan steel, or something close to it, wouldn't matter if we're in the White March or the Living Lands, business would come. That's the long and short of it. We're laborers and fisherfolk, not adventurers. But Durgan steel could put Stalwart on the map again. Open up the mines, bring in new business. We just need the White Forge. Because you can shave stone with it, cleave cast iron in two, and the stuff's as rare as it is remarkable. If we could make something even half as good, we'd have a market at our doorstep and work enough for all of Stalwart. Where should I start? Ogres, blizzards, or sheer damned inaccessibility? It ain't for lack of trying, I'll tell you that much. Got untold riches in Durgan steel lying just inside, and never mind the White Forge itself. The Edérans who first settled Stalwart tried to crack it. So did the Valians, and every other cocky adventurer with more mettle than sense. But the place has a funny way of sealing itself up. Front door stays shut, the tower entrances are clogged with rubble, and it's been impossible to blast a way in. It don't bear dwelling on. There's too many superstitions about that place as it is.
Killed each other off, or so the old books say.
Plenty of tales to go around, but none of them open the battery. And the last thing people need is another reason to fear the place. Whatever it was, the other Pargrin dwarven settlements in the White March, Bone Picker, the Hawk, and the rest, emptied out not long after, moved to gentler, greener lands.
Had the right idea, if you ask me. Finally, someone talking sense.
Durgan steel wasn't just good. It was some of the best. We need the best if we're going to keep Stalwart alive. No one alive today has seen the White Forge, but the old stories tell that it was powerful, glowed white-hot, and gave off a steady, even heat, unlike any other furnace. Let better-schooled folk puzzle over how the thing was built. I just want to see it put to use. Pargrin's a word in their language. Means traveler. They've been wanderers for generations, but I couldn't tell you much more. The battery's up the mountain to the north, a good hike away.
Near Galvino's place, huh?
So it is, though I was going to suggest dealing with that ogre camp before anything. Mestre Galvino, as the old crosspatch prefers it, lives by himself and keeps the wilder and beasts at bay through sheer foulness of his temper.
She means to say he's a skilled smith and animancer, who's lived in the shadow of Durgan's battery for over a decade.
And he butters his bread on both sides and fits his left shoe before his right. But that's neither here nor there. Me and the rest of the town. He knows better than to linger at our gates. Old lunatic finally went too far, and we sent word to the Valiant academies. I don't like speaking on it, but if you want to get his guff, just remind him that we gave him the boot.
Ain't nobody here fond of the man, but he's a clever hand and a quick study. It's a fool who thinks he stayed so close to the battery without figuring something about it.
You said as much to the last party, and we haven't seen hide nor hair of him since. Maybe they didn't run afoul of Baragon's ogres after all. Just watch your step. Galvino's place is a ways east of the battery, and folk who pass it bring unsettling tales. Belongs to Flames That Whisper, Matron Baragon's clan. Hunters tell me they've been active of late.
Hunting elk and otherwise minding their own damn business.
Minding their own business. Never mind the latest expedition's disappearance, or the broken stockade.
I'm saying we shouldn't agitate him further.
The brawl outside was just the latest patch of trouble. The ogre clans are getting bolder, and we'll all sleep easier knowing they aren't circling our walls. Also, Baragons like to have whatever the last expedition found. Rumor has it they disappeared near her turf.
Killing a matron will only make our problems worse. The way to approach Baragon is with your hands held high.
If anyone could parley with an ogre, I suppose it'd be you. But they aren't known for their patience with prattle. Good. Before you leave town, stop by the Grave's Rest. Most visitors to Stalwart spend some time there, so Hafric and his patrons may be able to give you the lay of the land. What's on your mind? The Pargrin dwarves guarded it like a mother bear. It's a wonder we know as much as we do. What's on your mind? Edér founded us back in their colonial days to supply ore to the Empire. Saw a fair bit of traffic from both sides of the White March then. But after the Deerwood claimed independence, Defiance Bay found cheaper places to get ore. Didn't have much reason to maintain our supply routes. Officially, though with the state the roads are in, you wouldn't guess it. Here in the center? Let's see. The Grave's Rest is next door. Hafric can set you up with a room and a hot meal there. The fishery's just on the edge of the lake, and the Temple of Andra is next to it. No one keeps a secret like Lavda. Or so I'm told. A few folk live in this part of town, too. Seemed a lot safer before the ogres broke through the western gate. Thyrsc lives next to the old mine shaft, and Tana, the old mine overseer, is next door to me. I'm the mayor, or so I'm reminded every time there's a game shortage, ogre attack, or a neighborly dispute. I'm a builder by trade, though. Traveled all over Glonfoth and the Deerwood in my younger days, but ended up back here anyway. What's on your mind? They didn't volunteer much, and I knew better than to ask. I've seen all types charging through here. Professional companies with shiny new equipment as brazen as you please, and hopeless runts with nothing but tattered leathers. But these folk, I don't know what they were after, and the way they looked at you made you feel cold all over. Wish I could tell you more. What's on your mind?
Something else you need? It's a fool's hope. A fantasy that's kept these parts inhabited longer than they should be. They say the Pargrunan dwarves developed Durgan steel, became powerful, rich. And then one day, they locked their doors and died. Nothing like a mystery to stir folk up. Most of Stalwart is convinced that some Pargrin secret will save us all. But that don't stop them from whispering a prayer when they pass the old fortress. About the only thing folk here haven't tried. Killing one more matron won't change things for long. Besides, her clan's flames that whisper. The one that attacked us was Wolf with many mouths. I'd know him anywhere.
They're cut from the same cloth, Uldric. Only a matter of time before Baragon marches through that gap in our walls.
Mother's convinced that a magic forge will turn this frozen crack into a hub of civilization. She can't accept this place is dying. Me, I'd just as soon move on. I'm a carpenter, Mother's a builder, so it felt like a good fit at the time. Not that we've got a lot of new folk to build houses and furnishings for. These days, I spend most of my time fixing up the stockade.
Fresh fish, freshly caught! Effigy's eyes! It looks at me! Ah!
You must forgive Zahua. I was not expecting you. Resting my eyes, I thought, waiting for the Malkachoa to bring me insight. It would seem I dozed. A good thing my master was not alive to see it. Are you real? We shall let the matter rest for now, then. Until the Malkachoa wears off. A small white mushroom. I have heard it called snowcap in these lands. It can reveal the true nature of many things. A teacher, not an owner. Zahua is a free man. Well, as free as any of us. I was freeing myself from vanity. Consider, how can one be vain who is bathed in the smell of dead fish? I had the idea when I passed this way earlier. I am pleased with the results so far. Yes, quite pleased. Gods, no. What a way to travel the world. The usual way is to smear yourself with the ashes of the dead. But they do not burn their dead here, so I have to make do with what the land provides. The cold seems to conquer the smell. Even now, the scent hides itself. Disappointing. From battle, yes. I left them upon my enemies. These were struck against fear. These against pleasure. These against hatred. Those down there against greed and doubt. And these were for vanity. I cannot take credit for all of them, but I did most of the good ones. I put them there in battle to remind myself what is real and what is not. Our worst enemies are inventions of the mind, pleasure, fear. When we see them for what they are, we become unstoppable. I feel I have been close, but never for more than an instant. In the moment when the pain is sharpest, the world becomes clear. In that moment, I am a match for anyone. Of course, I am fortunate to have suffered so much. If I did not suffer, I would not aspire to free myself from it. I would wander from one unfulfilling goal to the next. More wealth, a better station. My soul would wither. But to search for a place beyond suffering's reach is to nurture the soul, to harden it against the elements. Suffering is the greatest gift the gods have given us, their most beautiful, perfect creation. It is the hand that turns the wheel. I was visiting a monastery not far from here. I found it empty, but I met a messenger as I left. He carried a call for aid. Seeing that he would find no monks at the monastery, I chose to go in their place. Zahua is no longer young, but in combat he is still the greatest of the Takan people. It seemed only right that he should go. I would not say I am hired. I seek no wage, and I promise no result. I have chosen a path, and my spoils come from walking it. And this fortress, this Durgan's battery, its people are gone. Zahua would know why. If one wishes to swim, it is no time to argue with the current. We are here together in this moment because a perfect force has willed it. Who is Zahua to argue? I will walk with you so long as the gods wish it so.
See you when I see you.
Age has slowed me.
Zahua is ready. My thoughts wander often to the lost builders of this fortress we seek. They were erased from the world. I wonder, was it meant to be so? After 2 centuries, I would not hold out hope. All things fade, and always sooner than we wish. Yes, these feuds between ogre and kith, I do not see them ending until one is wiped out, or both. The ways of the Nalpazga can make little sense to an outsider. We are the warriors of the Takan. Nobles, peasants, it does not matter. We are souls caged in flesh, nothing more. But it is one thing to say it, another to know it. So we train until we know it, or until we meet our ends. I give this answer because it is what you wanted, but the Nalpazga would say different. They would say that we are nothing at all. Perfection. Look around you. The world is perfect. Every being, every moment, every death. Rarely do we see this. We stumble through life, lost in distractions. Every practice of the Nalpazga is a reminder to stop stumbling, to know the perfection. You think the world imperfect? Most would agree. Most would say the world is imperfect because we suffer. They imagine a world without suffering and dream of living there, and suffer all the more for it. This is their mistake. The world is perfect. It was created by a boundless wisdom. It is for us to learn why a perfect world requires that we suffer. Vanity is a snare that roots us to the ground. The way we see ourselves, the way others see us, these things are not real. They cannot be touched. The Nalpazga teachings reveal many such snares. Fear, pleasure, doubt, hatred. They hold us back if we let ourselves be caught. Then you see only what is truly there, and you suffer no longer. You become as a god, seeing things as they do. If you can loose yourself from the snares, then you are free. I meet people on the road, and they pity me. I have come to find it endearing. They see so many scars, and they wonder, how can the man beneath not be broken? A scar is a wound that heals. a living reminder of our power over suffering. They cause no pain, only the echo of pain, which cannot hurt you. Show me a scarred man, and I will show you a man who can overcome. The Malkachoa? At any time, it is rare that I have not eaten some. When you first try it, it seems a beautiful fantasy. You see colors you have never seen, meet creatures that are not there. With practice, you see that all it does is show you reality, the essence of all things, how they are alike and connected. I have watched trees grow and wilt before me. I have tasted meat and known the animal's life as if it were mine. But the Malkachoa often causes the stomach to empty with great violence, so it is not for everyone. You would ask much of one who knows little. Most Takan have two choices. They can grow crops, or they can become Nalpazka warriors. I was the youngest of 5, a dreamer. The Nalpazka were always in my thoughts. They did not feel the same about me. 3 times I tried to join their ranks. 3 times I was refused. All that time spent dreaming, and I had not thought to prepare. I was lazy, uncoordinated, overweight. If they had not refused me, what shame I might have brought to them. They had no choice. Our high priestess had a vision. Malkachoa, plus some other shit, knowing her. No one put on a better ceremony than she did. She saw me as chieftain, leading a host of Nalpazka warriors to victory over our enemies, the Kechmatl. Our last chieftain had died over the winter. A new one had not yet arisen from the Nalpazka. So the timing was right. The next day they brought me before Ishipilo, the great master of the Nalpazka, and I became his pupil. I still trained with the other instructors, sparred and meditated with my Nalpazka brothers and sisters. I learned from all of them. But learning from Ishipilo was a chieftain's privilege. He knew the secrets that could grant mastery over reality, invincibility in combat. When a Nalpazka was deemed a worthy successor to a chieftain, greater than all his peers, Ishipilo would take him in, prepare him for the future. I would not be as I am now without his lessons. Not all of them. A story for another time, perhaps. One thing he did teach me was that the more you talk, the less you hear. And the less you hear, the less you have that is worth saying. Ishimidal is vast. Outsiders think of it as one land, and its people as one people. But if you walk across it, you see that there are many Ishimidals. The Ishimidal that the Khan know is rich in soil and water. The crops seem to grow in front of you. We build our homes along the Aki River, and it is good to us. Though every so often it floods, so that the Khan do not forget their suffering. It would not be the rainy season without my neighbor Esley swimming after his escaped goats and nearly drowning. But home is an idea, no more real than justice or honor. My home is here now, wherever I stand. I hope to share knowledge with the monks of the Thousand Dreams. Their monastery lies east of here. They are said to be seekers of greater truth, like the Nalpazka. But if they still exist, I did not find them there.
Ah.
It must be soon. 2 days, no more. Sorry. Didn't hear you come in. My ears aren't what they used to be. I'm Thyrsc. I've lived here long enough that Kith have started calling me the Old Hunter. And that's about all I can say for myself. Coming to your elders for advice, is it? What can I do for you? Well, I can tell you it won't be here much longer if things go on as they are. With the mines closed, we've lost what put us on the map in the first place. We're losing people every month. Too many mouths to feed and not enough to support them. Even the game's dwindling. I've been lucky. I've hides and horns enough to keep the traders happy, but now the ogres are picking the rest of us off. The moment we started looking into Durgan's battery, it was like we'd kicked a hornet's nest. You made a good showing against that last group, by the way. I think you've given them reason to think twice about coming back. It's been a colder season than usual, and the elk herds aren't faring well. We're stuck fighting with the ogre clans and the wolves over what's left. Not to mention the occasional beast. We've lost a lot of young hunters. It has. We had some hope in the early days that we'd be spared, isolated as we are. That hope died in a hurry. Not everyone's been so unlucky, of course. You'll see a few pampered sprats around. Long hours checking snares and waiting out elk, mostly. Used to hunt some of the big ones. Bear, stelgare. But up here, it comes down to necessity. Which means keeping Stalwart fed, or else keeping it safe. Thing is, the last hunt didn't go so well, as you can see. Wasn't the ogres, I can tell you that. Put a few arrows in one of those and they generally have the good sense to back off. But I've been hunting this wolf for near a year now. A man-eater. Cunning, nasty thing. Every time I get close, it just slips away. The beast has already claimed many lives. The first victim was my son, Saldren. Got the better of me this last time. Distracted me long enough for one of its kin to turn up. Nearly bit me clean in half. I'm a few weeks out from trying again. No ordinary wolf. A monster. This creature is big. And I see the signs it leaves behind. The mess it made to the last couple of hunters and the elk. Doesn't always finish its meals. Damn thing might be sick. Might have a bullet in its jaw. Something. In any case, it needs to be put down. It roams the russet wood out to the west. Seems to have decided the lake is a good place to find prey. Yeah. It's picked off some scattered ogres from time to time. But mostly it's been going after hunters, travelers. Nothing to tell. Near misses, all of them. One time he clambered right up the cliffs to avoid my snares. Another time, he chased a bear into my camp. I nearly had him once. I could hear him below, eating, and I had the gun aimed right for him. Until the wind changed. He charged headlong into the tree to get at me. Nearly knocked me off my perch. And when I righted myself, he was gone. It needs doing. But I warn you, this beast is not to be trifled with. It must make its lair somewhere to the west. If you mean to go there, keep your wits about you. Watch yourself on the mountain. In these lean times, everything looks like prey to something.
I'll get it open. Finished.